St. Augustine, Florida, America's oldest city, and maybe its most haunted. Founded in 1565, it has endured fires, pirates, sieges, and centuries of restless memories. Every coquina stone here has soaked up a story, and some refuse to stay silent. Tonight, we're walking two of the city's darkest corridors. The old jail, where prisoners once prayed for mercy they'd never receive, and Potter's Wax Museum, whose waxen faces hide tales far colder than the glass they stand behind. Join us as we step into the past and see what still walks there. At first glance, it looks like a pink Victorian hotel. That illusion was the whole point. When Henry Flagler built his grand Ponce de Leon hotel in 1891, he didn't want his wealthy guests staring at a grimy county lockup. So he paid for a new one, a fortress dressed up as a resort. Romanesque arches, palm-lined walkways, and just enough bars on the windows to give the truth away. Inside, it was hell in pastel. Thick coquina walls muffled screams. The open windows let in heat, humidity, and clouds of biting insects. Mattresses were stuffed with Spanish moss, and the moss with fleas. The jail crammed 72 men and a dozen women into its narrow cells. Some were killers, some were merely poor or inconvenient. And looming over them all was Sheriff Joe Perry, 6'5" and 300 pounds of law and order. Locals said his temper haunted a room before he even entered it. And maybe it still does. 8 official hangings took place on these grounds. Visitors say the air still feels thick near the gallows, as if the final breath of each man never left. It's no wonder the site now sits on the National Register of Historic Places. History can't quite wash its hands of it. Walk through today and you'll hear the echoes. Footsteps in empty corridors. Chains that clank without motion. Low sobbing from the women's wing. Some guests feel cold fingers brush their hair, or the ghost of a dog barking for a master long dead. 2 spirits are named most often. Charlie Powell, executed for a crime of passion, seen pacing near the gallows. And Sam Jackson, who murdered his wife in 1906, his rage still described as a pressure in the chest when you stand in his cell. At night, when the Ghosts and Gravestones tour rolls in, the brave take turns sitting alone in solitary. Many make it seconds before stumbling out, pale and shaking, swearing a shadow moved toward them. Daytime tours tell the story. Nighttime ones let the story answer back. Hey, if you're enjoying this haunted journey through St. Augustine, tap that subscribe button and tell us below. Would you dare spend 5 minutes alone in solitary? We'll wait. In the dark. From real shackles to wax ones, let's trade the gallows for the gallery. Potter's Wax Museum opened in 1949, the oldest of its kind in the U.S. Most rooms shine with movie stars and monarchs, but tucked in the back is the infamous Chamber of Horrors, a dim corridor where St. Augustine's villains are immortalized in wax and whispers. The story that chills most visitors belongs to pirate Andrew Ranson. Captured after a failed raid in the 1680s, he was sentenced to die by garrote, a twisting device that strangles slowly. 6 turns, and he went limp. The executioner added a 7th. The cord snapped. Ranson hit the ground, still alive. Franciscan monks smuggled him away, declaring it a miracle. Years later, the Spanish governor spared him in exchange for labor on the new fort, the very Castillo de San Marcos, whose walls still stand today. A pirate helping build a fortress he once tried to destroy. History loves its irony. During the nighttime tour, actors bring his execution to life while the wax Ranson clutches his rosary, eyes lifted toward mercy that never came. Visitors say that's the moment the room itself seems to breathe. Some swear his figure's lips move when the lights flicker. Other grim legends line the chamber, even a depiction of Sam Jackson's hanging, tying the two sites together in one long exhale of death and remembrance. Narrow halls, lifelike eyes, the smell of old wood polish. It's theatrical, yes, but more than a few guests leave rubbing goosebumps. St. Augustine wears its hauntings like a patchwork quilt, some squares stitched from fact, others from fear. The old jail holds the heavy ghosts of real suffering. Potter's Wax Museum conjures the city's legends into something you can almost touch. Together, they show two sides of the same city. One where the past refuses to rest, and one where we keep inviting it to speak. In America's oldest city, the dead don't always stay behind. Sometimes they wait for you. Thanks for joining us on this tour. If you've ever toured a haunted jail or wandered through a wax figure that blinked, share your story below. And remember, stay curious and be careful what you look for in the dark.